Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to see Green 5 Ultra from Acustica Audio. Let's go into it. Welcome back to another tutorial about Acustica Audio, and now we are going to talk about Green 5 Ultra. This is not a free update, just to be clear, but then we have a Green 5 update for free for the previous customers with bug fixing, new interface, graphics, and also oversample options to preserve the CPU usage. Let's go to see what we have in the Ultra version, and the first thing that we can see is the new amazing graphic interface. This now reacts as usual in the DAW EQs, but is connected directly to the real IR inside the plugin. So the new interface helps us to reach the perfect balance between curve and bell, as you see. Of course, this respects 100% the sampling from the original outboard GML 8002. So for the people that never use this kind of device, we have to explain why this is so famous, so interesting for the sound engineers. First of all, this is one of the first chirurgical EQs in the market from 1982 from George Massenburg Labs. And this is now iconic in all studios around the world. I have used it many times in the past, and I'm still using for vocal tracking especially. I have recorded a mixed vocal for Andrea Bocelli, Il Volo, Ariana Grande, etc. a lot of artists. And why this is so famous? As I explained it before, it's really chirurgical on frequencies, such as a digital approach now that we have in a DAW, but back in the days was unusual to have 5 bands for controlling the EQs, and the real characteristic is found on the musical aspects of this EQ and the soft touches that we can add to our materials, especially in the high frequencies where all the other EQs normally get easily going in the harshness, but not with the GML and of course with Green 5. I have already done other 2 videos about Green in Italian if you want to look at in different materials. But today we are going to use it in a song from a very great friend of mine, a great artist, Walter Ricci, on his own song No Doubt, just to see how the EQ and the compressor, the new versions Ultra, works on the real acoustic sounds, where all the other EQs can't handle the right way to mix it. First of all, let's go to see all the characteristics inside the interface before using in a mix. Starting from the top, we have the view meters, input and output, then the oversampling selection here. This will help us so much to avoid the aliasing generated by the digital, processing. Of course, there are more CPU usage, but we have to handle with that. Based on our hardware, at the moment I'm using an M1 Pro Apple, but as we will see, I opened a lot of instances. Then moving down, we have the pre-selection and the preamp input gain. So this is very useful to reach the right distortion if we need it. But at the moment, I love to use the regular hardware setting, so at 0 dBu or minus 18 dBFS. We can insert the gain manually or numerically from the field down, so minus 18, very easy. Same thing for the other potentiometer, so we can insert the value very easily and fast. Then we have the buttons to on and off all the frequencies, just in case we just need only some frequencies and not all of them. This is also useful to manage the CPU consumption. Then arriving to the right part, we have the processing selection, so mid, processing the mid only, LR, so processing the left and right simultaneously, and side to process the side. This is considered stereo plugin because we don't have the dual mono option. Then we will see in another interface. In the top we have the preset list, so we can choose something, to start joining the plugin inside our tracks. I prefer to use the plugin as the real hardware. Then we have the gain controls in the up, the bells in the middle, and the frequencies in the bottom. As I already saw in the other Ultra plugins, such as Lace, we have the bypass and monitoring left, right, mid-side or delta, just to approach to the listening options. At the end, we have the output control. Great for the volume compensation, of course. In the bottom part, we have the visual approach. Let's see what happens when we go in play. So now we have also the option to add a spectral monitoring into different things. This is very useful to intercept the peaks very easily. And also we can change the visual approach on real IR. This is as a real result from the hardware visually. This is the same viewing that we should have if we open Green 5 inside the plugin Doctor, for example. Last but not the least, the hyper mode that we have now here in 4 different families. So the hyper equalizer is the most accurate and sampled version of the GML. Hyper Eco Equalizer, this is created for the low CPU usage, but with more artifacts inside. Hyper EQ Digital, this is a digital version of the original plugin, and we have 2 options, EQ Digital, one regular and double oversampling. Just as a reference, the Hyper Equalizer, the 0 in the top of the list, is the most accurate and most heavy on the CPU. I've used this plugin many times in the mix, so we have one in vocal, piano, in the bass, of course. In acoustic guitar, I've also used Gold 5 2 instances in electric and organ and effects. Then Fire HP for a bass cut in a percussion, another green in a drum, this time the stereo version or dual mono version. Is very similar to the previous one, but without the graphic interface for a space problem. In this version, we have also oversampling selection in the right upper side, the MS selection here, just to switch the dual EQ in a MS combination mid-side, and the meters regarding the LUFS options like internal, short terms, etc. etc. This is the reset for the meters. And the control link, useful, very useful to switch on and off the controls and the connection between the 2 EQs. Just for your info, if we push the right side of the insert, it works for a single channel. But if the control link is enabled and we switch the insert on the left side, this will affect both channels. This is very useful just to have an on and off or bypass, just to listen what's happening in these frequencies only. We have also the shelf controls. This switch transforms the external band in a shelf, high shelf and low shelf, of course. Very easy to use it. Just to remember, this is not a digital EQ. Then when we are in a very peaky situation, this is not a digital cut, so just remember that. Same option here for the digital mode, Hyper EQ Digital and Eco, the 4 families of the Hyper section. In this case, I'm using that on drum track. Then I select Hyper EQ Digital to preserve the CPU usage. We have the listening mode in the down right side and bypass in the left down side. We have also the phase shift, the output gain, the pen controls. This is very useful when this is not right panned in a stereo image, and the spread control just to have more stereo effect. This is wonderful, I love it. Then let's jump now in the second part of the plugin package, and now I'm going to talk about Green Comp Ultra. This is an amazing evolution of the Compressor Zen. Let's have a look at the compressor. This is the stereo version, very easy to understand, and we have also the dual mono compressor that we will see later. The main aspect of this compressor is the sound. This is very, very musical with respect to all the other compressors, and I'm going to show you why. We have to think as we have 2 different compressors with 2 different detection. The original GML compressor works on RMS detection, not peak detection. So we have 2 different detection based on a level of the RMS. The lower RMS will be intercepted by the slow part of the compressor, and the higher RMS detection is intercepted by the fast side of the compression. This is why we have two different approaches, and this is parallel. This creates a very incredible mixture and control of the dynamics never seen before, because normally all the compressor intercept the peak or the peaks. In this case we have an RMS compression, so an RMS interception. We have the fast control in the left and the slow controls in the right. High pass filter here, the ratio control, and the interface show us the ratio value, the threshold, the makeup gain to recover the gain, and the mix from dry to wet. Same for the slow side of the compressor. In the middle we have the blend control from slow to fast, easy to understand what's happening if we want to listen just the slow or just the fast, or mixing the results of both. We have the SH mode. We have seen this many times in the acoustic audio plugin, and works as a lookhead in the interceptor. In the position 1 we have the real hardware interceptor, then we can change it from 2 to 4 just to let all the peaks going through the compressor with a longer lookhead. The attack and release controls are same for both compressor, of course. We have the input trim, the switch for the compressor, in the case we want to use both or just one, and the preamp that we can add more distortion in the insert for adding the harmonic distortion to the plugin, and we have also the preamp trim here. Attack and release hold are connected to the interceptor, and we can fine-tuning the interception of the peaks. We have also stereo link. I prefer to use it off in this case because we are in an acoustic song where left and right are different. The sidechain input, in case we want to add sidechain to the plugin, the monitoring section as we've seen before, left to right, mid side or delta, and the bypass button. At the end we have 3 new controls added by Acustica. The first one is power. Power is dedicated to the interceptor. We can transform the interceptor from RMS in position 2 to peak. I love to use an RMS just to remain very musical in the song. In here we have the control from mid and side if we want to change the proportion from mid to side or stay in the left-right. And the morphing control. This is very unique for acoustic audio. We could transform our compressor from compressor to limiter to saturator. This is very unusual for a plugin like this one. The oversampling in this case can go through 16. A very high oversampling just to avoid completely the aliasing, and this let green works exactly as the hardware version. In the stereo version of the plugin we have the same exactly controls with addition of the meters with the regular controls that we seen before, the widening control, the spread, the panning left to right, the stereo link, and of course the option to work in mid-side mode where I've used it in the master of this song. Let's go to see what happened in the song. Let's start listening the vocal, and especially the high frequencies where I work it. I would like to describe this as a silk road in the high frequencies. So just to pay attention to this part where are the S and the harshness of the voice, because I raised it up 6 dB, and it's very complicated to maintain the musicality inside the vocal. Normally, any plugins start to make more S and more harshness in this particular section, but not in green, as we will see now.
Nothing left, nothing right, not a single thing that I would try ever felt enough. Nothing that I could choose, my whole life was never truly mine. My soul was empty now.
Look at when Walter sings soul.
My soul was empty. My soul was empty now.
It's magical.
You turned me on. You turned me inside out. I never thought I'd feel this way. now I can get enough. You turned me on, it never felt so right. Who would have known I'd find myself inside your eyes? Now I see through my doubts, sometimes love can also be the cure. It made me change my point of view. It's in the way you hold my hand that I can see I won't be hurt again. You make me feel so safe inside. You turned me on, you turned me inside out. I never thought I'd feel this.
In this case, I've touched 500 on the piano just to have more harmonics, and 1 dB in the low end, just a little bit opening in very high frequencies. It makes more wide because I've touched the spread a little, just 0.5. No oversampling is involved now. Same for the bass.
Nothing left.
In this case, I've used some kind of tilt EQ just to have less bass because it was so boomy, and opening the high frequencies just to have more sound of the finger. Let's have a look at the difference in solo.
My soul was empty now.
More balanced. This is a fantastic EQ. Move now on acoustic. Same situation, I have opened the high frequencies without arching to have more strings and less resonance on 250 and 70 and 750. Without.
You turned me on, and then
Look at the drums now, and I've worked just to give more air on the drums. I've used, in this case, Tan, my loved free plugin from Acustica. This is an amazing compressor, and it's free. With my preset, we have here my preset, Yuri Ricotti, and I've used the rock drum compression just to open the overheads. And in this case, I used green to open up just 2 dB on extreme side of the band in a shelf mode, just to have more air, and 1 dB and a half on 1 kHz and a half. Do not change the tone of the snare. It's easy to change the tone of the snares. This is one of the common issue in a home studio usage. Just to pay attention on the sound, on the real sound of the snare. Don't change it. Just a little bit air. Punchy. Another dB and a half at 620 just to raise up a little bit the bottom of the snare. It adds more hair to the kick and the snare, and in the tom, of course. Beautiful.
You turned me on, you turned my life around. Who would have known?
All the tracks except the vocal are sent to another bus with another EQs. In this case, I've used the regular Green 5 Zen EQ just to show you the potential of this amazing plugin. This is very touchy and delicate on the changes. In this case, I have opened 2.5 dB at the 26 kilohertz, very gently raise up in the highs, and same thing for the low frequencies. 3 dB and half at 13 Hz. I'm touching the extremely part of the bands just to have more hair and dip in the mix. Let's go into it and listen in and out.
My soul was empty now.
In the regular Green 5, we have the shelf selection. Just point the cue in the first option available. Let's go into the master now. So I have used another Green Ultra EQ to refine the master, and the work now is in MS mode, as I showed it before. Even in this case, I've opened it a little bit more in the high frequency, other 3 dBs in the side only at 26 kilohertz. 1 dB and half at 2 kilohertz, just to have more harmonics in the side, and 1 dB 0.7 less on the bass. I've set it at 36 Hz. Different approach on the mid part, so we have 1 dB at 1 kilohertz, just to have more front on vocal and snare, and half dB more, just half dB to 160. In this case 171. The high frequencies bell are different in the mid-side section. So now I've used a bell here in the side and a shelf in the mid. So I'm not in the control link, of course. Just a little bit 0.1 in the spread, just to have more spread now, and to emphasize the side just a little bit.
You turned me on,
and let's go into see what happens.
You turned me inside out. I never thought I'd feel this way. Now I can get enough. You turned
These variations are very subtle, so we have to pay attention to what I explained before.
Who would have known I'd find myself inside your eyes? Now I see through my doubts. Sometimes love can also be the cure. It made me change my point of view. It's in the way you hold my hand that I can see I won't be hurt again. You make me feel so safe inside. You turned me on, you turned me inside out. I never thought I'd feel this way. Now I can get enough. You turned me on and never.
To preserve the CPU usage, I have selected a digital EQ and Hyper EQ Digital 2X. I have to choose these settings because the video recording software is very heavy. Then I don't want to go in the CPU clipping. Second pass is Ash, just to add half dB of the clipping distortion of my sound, and lace, of course, to raise up the volume to the standard LUFS level for YouTube or the streaming platform. I've done a video before about lace. I suggest you to go to see it. So please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and left your comments below. But all the sound, all the mix is processed by Green 5 Ultra Compressor. This is super magical. This is the secret weapon of my mixes. And let's go to see what plugin do to the mix with in and out.
My soul was empty now. You turned me on, you turned me inside out. I never thought I'd feel this way. Now I can
just pay attention on the dynamics.
You turned me on, it never felt so right.
It comes alive.
Who would have known I'd find myself inside your eyes? Now I see through my doubts. Sometimes love can also be the cure. It made me change my point of view. It's in the way you hold my hand that I can see I won't be hurt again. You make me feel so safe inside. You turned me on, you turned me inside out. I never thought I'd feel this way. Now I can get enough.
As we can see, I'm left the compressor acting just 3 dB maximum for the slow RMS detection and just 1 dB for the fast detection. This makes the mix automatically alive. I love it so much. Let's see what happened when I stretch the threshold on the fast detection.
My soul was empty now. You turned me on, you turned me inside out. I never thought I'd feel this way. Now I can get enough. You turned me on, it never felt so right. Who would have known I'd find myself inside your eyes? Now I see through my doubts. Sometimes love can also be the cure. It made me change my point of view. It's in the way you hold my hand that I can see I won't be hurt again. You make me feel so safe inside. You turned me on, you turned me inside out. I never thought I'd feel this way. Now I can get enough. You turned me on, it never felt so right. Who would have known I'd find myself inside your eyes? You turned me on, you turned my life around. Who would have known I'd find myself inside your eyes?
I hope you enjoyed this video, this tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Please leave a comment below. I will reply as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. Ciao.